The arrival of the Titan. The Galaxy Council chamber was never silent. It was always filled with noise. Voices of 100 species arguing, demanding, and shouting. They fought with words instead of weapons, but today there was fear hidden under every sentence. The reason was simple: humanity. For centuries, the Council had mocked humans. They called them fragile, reckless, and short-lived. They laughed at their small ships and their weak fleets. But deep down they all knew humans had something different, something dangerous. Stories of human survival had spread across the stars. Stories of humans walking through fire, surviving wars, and standing tall even when their world was broken. Predators who once hunted other races avoided humans after learning what desperation made them do. Still, no one believed humans could rise so high. No one imagined what they were about to see. Far away from the council chamber, scanners screamed. Powerful signals appeared on every screen. Something massive had entered known space, something bigger than any ship recorded before. Commanders rushed to their stations, their skin pale or scales trembling. Fleets across star systems activated emergency protocols. It was not an invasion, not yet, but it was something greater. And then it appeared from the dark void. A ship moved slowly, as if the stars themselves were making way for it. Its size was beyond imagination, larger than moons. Its surface covered with black metal that seemed to drink light. On its side, huge letters glowed with a name that made alien hearts beat faster. Titan. It was the first Titan-class warship of humanity. And it was not hidden, it was not quiet. It wanted the galaxy to see. In the council chamber, silence fell for the first time in centuries. Claws stopped scratching the table. Wings folded, fangs pressed together. No one dared to speak. Only their eyes remained wide, staring at the hollow projection of the massive ship. "Impossible," whispered one elder with golden eyes. "How did humans build this without anyone noticing?" No answer came, because no one knew. The Titan drifted forward. Slow, calm, unafraid. Every empire's fleet scanned it, trying to measure its power. But their systems returned only fragments. Too much energy, too much mass, too much to understand. It was as if the ship was built with knowledge that did not belong to this age. Some said humans had unlocked lost technology. Others said they had stolen secrets from dead civilizations. A few even whispered that the Titan was alive. A beast of metal and fire, but all agreed on one truth. This ship was not meant for defense. It was meant to remind the galaxy that humans had arrived. Inside the Titan, human crew moved with discipline. Their faces calm, their voices steady. They knew every camera in the galaxy was watching them. They were the chosen ones, the first to carry humanity's pride into the stars. The captain stood at the command deck, looking at the endless stars before him. His hand rested on the rail, his eyes hard but calm. He knew the council would fear them. He knew whispers of war would spread, but fear was exactly what humanity needed. The ship's communication array came alive, and a single message was broadcast across 1,000 systems. Translated into every known tongue, it said, "We come in peace, but we are not weak." The words echoed through the chambers of rulers and kings, through the hearts of soldiers and spies. It was a promise and a warning. It was a line that divided the past and the future. In one corner of the galaxy, a warlord slammed his fist, demanding immediate attack. In another, a scholar whispered that history was being written, and in the council chamber, leaders stared at each other, frozen between fear and awe. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy held its breath. The Titan remained silent after its message. Its giant cannons slept. Its engines hummed like storms caged within. Its presence alone was louder than war. Everyone waited, empires, soldiers, even ordinary farmers on distant worlds. They all asked the same question. What would humans do next? And then, without warning, the Titan's hangar doors opened. Shadows spilled out like wings. Rows of smaller crafts lined up, silent but ready. The council chamber erupted in panic. Voices shouted over each other. Some called for diplomacy, some for surrender, others for preemptive strike, but no one acted. No one dared to fire the first shot, because deep inside they all understood one thing. The Titan was not just a ship, it was a declaration. Humanity had stepped into the stars, and they had come with thunder. The chamber fell into silence again. Leaders trembling, systems scanning, fleets waiting, and across the stars a new truth was carved into history. The age of humanity had begun. Cliffhanger. The Titan's engines glowed brighter, a low hum shaking nearby planets, as if the ship itself was breathing, and the galaxy whispered, waiting, watching, afraid of the next move. The watching eyes of the galaxy, the Titan floated in silence, its giant frame stretching across the void. Every empire's fleets locked their sensors on it. But the more they scanned, the less they understood. Numbers twisted into nonsense. Energy readings broke their systems. Commanders cursed as their screens filled with static. Across the stars, the galaxy was watching. Predator clans sharpened their blades, their leaders restless. They had ruled through fear for centuries, but now their warriors spoke in hushed voices, asking if humans had surpassed even them. Scholar races filled their archives with every fragment of data, trying to record the impossible. They compared the Titan to myths of star-forged gods, to ancient machines that once burned galaxies. Their young students trembled as they realized the stories were no longer legend. Merchant guilds, always searching for profit, saw something else. They saw human pride, unshakable and dangerous, and they whispered that the balance of power had shifted forever. And still, the Titan moved forward. Its surface shone like a black ocean, ripples of energy flowing across its armor. Strange symbols glowed faintly, symbols that no alien mind could translate. Some said they were warnings, others said they were prayers. Inside the ship, human crew remained calm. They spoke in quiet tones, checking systems, preparing responses. Their training was clear: show strength, show calm, but never show fear. Humanity's survival depended on it. In the council chamber, chaos erupted. Leaders shouted across the hall, demanding answers, demanding action, their eyes wide as they watched the Titan's hangar open wider. Smaller ships lined up in perfect formation, sleek and fast, each one a predator in its own right. "Why are they silent?" hissed one serpent-like ruler. "Why do they not explain?" But silence was part of the message. Every alien spy, every hidden agent tried to infiltrate the Titan's signals. They sent viruses, probes, coded whispers through the void, but every attempt ended in failure. The Titan's firewalls consumed them like flames eating dry leaves, and in some cases the spy ships themselves were burned by unseen counterattacks. Whispers spread faster than light. Humans have technology we cannot understand. Humans have awakened forbidden knowledge. Humans are not like us. In secret chambers, war councils gathered. Some called for unity against humanity. Others demanded peace before it was too late, but no one moved. No one dared. On a lonely outpost near the edge of known space, a single alien scout ship broke formation, its pilot trembling but determined. He wanted to test humanity. He wanted to see if the Titan was bluff. The scout moved closer inch by inch, its weapons unpowered, its shields trembling. The Titan did not fire, it did not move, it only waited. And then something happened. The Titan released light, not weapons, but memories. Holograms filled the void. Massive projections that stretched across the stars. Every ship, every planet, every sensor caught the same vision. It was Earth. The aliens saw oceans roaring, storms raging, humans climbing mountains with bleeding hands, humans standing in deserts with no water but refusing to fall. They saw wars that tore nations apart, but also unity that rebuilt them stronger. They saw fire raining from the skies, yet humans walking out of the ash, carrying each other. The galaxy watched in silence, their hearts heavy, their minds trembling. The final image was of Earth seen from space, a small blue world, fragile, beautiful, yet unbroken. And then came words, carved into every language. "We endured extinction before. We will not bow again." The council chamber shook, not from weapons, but from the weight of the truth. Rulers sat frozen, their claws gripping stone, their hearts filled with something they rarely felt: respect. The alien scout pilot who had dared to approach broke into tears. His trembling hands gripping his controls, he whispered, "They are not here to beg. They are here to stand." Back inside the Titan, the captain lowered his head, silent, knowing the message was delivered, knowing the galaxy now understood. But the story was not finished, because even as awe spread, fear grew sharper. Predator warlords demanded immediate attack before humanity grew stronger. Empires whispered of alliances. Fleets armed their weapons but kept them hidden, and deep in the shadows, secret voices plotted against the humans. The Titan remained silent, its engines glowing faintly, its smaller crafts locked in place, its weapons still sleeping, but every alien knew the truth. Silence was more terrifying than war. The galaxy held its breath once again, and then a ripple of power pulsed through the Titan, so strong that nearby planets shook. Lights dimmed across star stations. Ships drifted as their systems faltered. The Titan was still holding back, but it had shown a glimpse of its true heart. The council chamber turned to panic. Leaders shouted, some demanded surrender. Others demanded unity, but no one dared move first. No one dared test the full rage of humanity. and as the Titan's glow slowly faded, leaving the galaxy trembling in fear and awe, one truth was carved deeper into the stars. Humanity was no longer a whisper. They were thunder waiting to strike. Cliffhanger in the next moment, the Titan's voice prepared to speak again, and the galaxy leaned closer, terrified of the words that would follow. Tension across the stars, the Titan's message still echoed across the void. Every world, every empire repeated the same words. We endured extinction before, we will not bow again. It was not just a warning. It was a line carved into the stars, and yet silence followed. For hours the Titan drifted forward, calm and unshaken, its black armor reflecting no light, its massive cannons quiet but always visible, its engines humming like storms trapped in chains. But across the galaxy, there was no calm. On Predator homeworlds, war drums began to beat. Massive armies trained in blood and fire sharpened their claws. Their leaders growled that humanity must be crushed before the Titan multiplied. "Strike now or lose everything," they shouted. In the chambers of scholar species, debate raged. Some believed humans were dangerous but wise. Others whispered that humanity had awakened ancient technology, one so old it came from before the council itself. Their students trembled at the idea. For if humans had touched forbidden fire, then no empire could ever control them. On trade worlds, merchants screamed as markets crashed. Prices fell and rose like storms. Everyone wanted human technology, but no one had it. The Titan's silence was worth more than gold, and fear itself became the new currency. The galaxy was on the edge in secret halls. Fleets were armed in silence, weapons charged but not fired. Millions of soldiers prepared without orders, their commanders waiting for a single mistake, a single spark to begin a war that could burn stars. But the Titan did not move. Instead, it waited. Inside the ship, the human crew watched in silence, their faces calm, their hearts steady. Their orders were clear. Patience was power. Fear was stronger than fire. Let the galaxy tremble before a single shot is fired. Still, the galaxy could not hold back forever. On the outer rim, a Predator fleet moved too close. Dozens of warships, their cannons glowing. They circled like wolves around the Titan, their commanders hungry for weakness, their fangs sharp with arrogance. The Titan did not fire. Instead, its hull began to glow faintly, lines of light running across its black armor, humming with energy so powerful that Predator scanners broke instantly. Ships flickered, alarms screamed, captains shouted orders, but the Titan never spoke a word. And then, in a single heartbeat, the Titan released a pulse. It was not a weapon, not fire or plasma, it was pure energy, invisible but unstoppable. Every Predator warship shuddered, their systems shutting down, their weapons frozen, their engines dead. One by one they drifted helpless in the void. The Titan had not destroyed them. It had shown mercy, but mercy wrapped in dominance. Across the stars the message was clear. The Titan could end fleets without firing a shot. Panic spread. Warlords who had once demanded immediate attack now shook with doubt. Scholars called it a weapon of silence. Merchants whispered that humanity could control entire markets by fear alone. Farmers on distant worlds whispered prayers to the Titan as if it were a god. But the fear only grew stronger, because deep inside every empire knew one truth. If this was only one Titan, then how many more could exist? How many were still hidden, waiting in the shadows of Earth? In the council chamber, arguments turned violent. Claws ripped stone, fangs snapped at wings. One ruler screamed, "We must unite or humanity will rule us all." Another shouted, "No, they seek peace, do not provoke them." But no one listened. No one trusted, the chamber filled with chaos. But above their heads the image of the Titan remained. Silent, unmoving, watching, and then the Titan spoke again. Its voice was deep, steady, unshakable, translated into every tongue. "Do not mistake silence for weakness." The words spread like fire, shaking soldiers, breaking hearts, burning pride. Empires froze as if the stars themselves had spoken. The Predator fleet, still disabled, floated helpless in shame, their commanders begging their systems to restart, their warriors staring at the Titan in horror. And then the Titan's final act came. The ship projected another image, this time not of Earth, but of humanity's history among the stars. Small fragile ships once mocked by the Council, now replaced by the Titan's shadow. Images of humans standing against empires that had tried to enslave them. Images of victories won not by power but by resilience. The final vision showed the Titan itself, larger than anything else, rising from the void like a mountain of fire. Behind it, shadows of more ships waiting, unseen but promised. The galaxy gasped. Because this was not only a ship, it was a declaration of a future. Humanity was not asking for a seat in the council. Humanity was building its own throne. The Titan's engines hummed again, stronger, brighter, shaking nearby moons, pulling fleets back with invisible force. And then silence returned once more. But silence was no longer calm. It was terror. The galaxy held its breath, waiting, trembling, praying, because everyone knew the tension could not last forever. One spark, one mistake, and the stars would burn. Cliffhanger. The Titan's sensors locked onto the council homeworld itself, and the chamber froze, every leader realizing the humans were now watching them directly. The first words of humanity. The Titan floated like a shadow of eternity, its black armor shining with lines of silent fire. The galaxy still trembled after its pulse had disabled an entire predator fleet without a single shot. But now something even greater was coming. In the council chamber, fear was thick. Leaders with claws, wings, and fangs stared at the giant hollow of the Titan that hovered above them. They whispered in panic, some begged for surrender, others called for war, but no one could act, because all of them felt the same weight pressing on their chests. The Titan had turned its sensors, and now its gaze rested directly on the council homeworld. Every system inside the chamber flickered as human signals pierced through their defenses. Ancient halls shook as if the Titan's heartbeat was echoing across stone walls. Then came silence, not the silence of space, but the silence before a storm. Inside the Titan, the human crew stood ready, their uniforms sharp, their voices calm. They knew history was about to be written. Their captain walked forward, his eyes steady, his voice low but filled with steel. He had been chosen to carry humanity's first words into the galaxy. "Open the channel," he ordered. Screens across the galaxy lit up, from predator warships to merchant guild halls, from scholar archives to farmer huts on distant colonies. Every being in the galaxy saw the same thing, a human face calm and unshaken staring back at them. For many, it was the first time they had truly seen a human. Not in pictures, not in old stories, but alive, real, and unafraid. The captain spoke. His voice translated into every language, yet it carried the same weight. "We are humanity," he began, his words slow, steady, like thunder that rolled across the stars. "We come not to beg, not to kneel, not to follow, but to stand." The chamber shook, leaders froze, translators repeated the words again and again, but the power of the voice was not in the language. It was in the calm behind it. "For centuries you mocked us, you called us weak. You called us reckless," the human continued. "But weakness taught us strength. Recklessness taught us survival. Every scar on our history is proof that we endure." Images flashed behind him, the Titan's systems projecting them into every mind. Humans walking through storms, humans pulling each other from ruins, humans standing against monsters with nothing but their bare hands. "And now we stand here, not to rule, not to destroy, but to claim our place among the stars," he said. "We will be friends to those who honor us, but we will never bow to those who threaten us." The chamber fell into total silence. Even the most violent warlords stopped breathing for a moment. Their eyes locked on the human's face. One insectoid emperor whispered to himself, "He does not ask, he declares." The human captain's voice grew stronger. "Look upon the Titan and understand. This is not our weapon, this is our promise. Humanity does not seek war, but if war is forced upon us, we will not break, we will not bend, and we will not fall." The words rolled across the galaxy like fire. Every soldier, every ruler, every farmer felt them burn inside their hearts. On predator homeworlds, warriors clenched their fists, unsure if they felt fear or respect. In scholar halls, young students whispered that history was being reborn. In merchant guilds, deals froze as everyone realized profit meant nothing when compared to survival. But the speech was not over. The captain leaned closer, his eyes like stone. "You will no longer decide humanity's fate from this day forward. We decide our own." The council chamber erupted. Voices screamed. Some shouted that humans were arrogant. Others begged for peace. Some even whispered that they should surrender before the Titan unleashed its fury. But over the chaos, one thing was clear. No one could ignore humanity anymore. The Titan's engines roared, its light glowing brighter. Its cannons still asleep but humming with power. The galaxy felt the vibration like a second heartbeat. Entire star systems shook, moons cracked, oceans rippled, and still the ship moved forward. The captain's final words struck like a blade through silence. "We are here to stay." And with that, the transmission ended. Screens went black. leaving only the image of the Titan floating above them. Massive, eternal, unshaken across the stars, beings trembled, some with fear, some with awe, some with hope, but all with one truth burning in their minds: humanity had spoken, and the galaxy could never return to what it was before. Cliffhanger. The Titan's weapons stirred for the first time, their barrels glowing faintly, not firing, just awakening, and the galaxy froze, asking the same question in one voice. Would the next moment bring peace or fire? The galaxy holds its breath. The Titan floated in the void, its giant cannons glowing faintly for the first time. The galaxy froze. No empire dared to breathe. No soldier dared to move. No fleet dared to fire. It was as if the universe itself had stopped. Every world, every empire, every council chamber replayed the human captain's words in their minds: we are here to stay. It was not a request. It was not a threat. It was a truth carved into the stars. Across predator worlds, armies that once roared with pride now fell into uneasy silence. Warlords who had demanded immediate attack stared at the Titan's image with shaking fists. They had ruled through fear for centuries, but now they felt fear themselves. In scholar halls, teachers stood before vast screens showing the Titan. They told their students, remember this moment. It is the birth of a new age. Their voices trembling between awe and terror. On merchant stations, deals collapsed. Traders no longer asked about profit. They asked about survival, because all wealth meant nothing if humanity's shadow covered the stars. The council chamber itself shook with chaos. Some leaders demanded surrender. Others demanded alliances. Some screamed for war, but none dared take the first step because they knew one spark could light a fire that would consume galaxies. Still, the Titan did not fire. Instead, its hangar doors opened once more. But this time not with fleets of smaller ships. This time something else emerged. A single shuttle, tiny compared to the Titan. Carrying only one signal, a human envoy. Gasps filled the council chamber. Claws scraped stone. Wings spread in shock. No one had expected this. Humanity had shown power beyond imagination, yet now they sent only one small ship. The shuttle drifted down, landing directly at the council homeworld's docking ring. No weapons, no escorts, only a single man stepping out, his steps calm, his face unshaken, his eyes steady. The chamber doors opened, and for the first time in history, a human walked into the council hall. Every leader rose, their bodies trembling, their voices caught in their throats. They had expected a conqueror, but the human wore no crown, no armor, only a simple uniform marked with the symbol of Earth. He stopped in the center of the chamber, standing tall, smaller than many species, fragile compared to some, but his presence was heavier than any throne. He spoke, his voice steady, carried by the same translation waves that had echoed the Titan's message. You have seen our ship. You have felt our strength, he said. But know this, the Titan is not our weapon. It is our shield. Humanity does not seek to rule, but to stand, beside those who honor peace against those who seek chains. The words struck harder than weapons. Leaders shifted uncomfortably. Some bowed their heads, others clenched their fists, but none could deny the truth in the man's voice. The human envoy raised his hand, and the chamber's great screens lit again, this time not with war but with unity. Images of humans standing with allies, defending weaker species from predators, carrying strangers through storms, fighting side by side with those who once mocked them. This is what we offer, he said. A future where humanity stands as a shield, not as a chain. But understand this clearly. If you choose to attack us, the Titan is only the first. The chamber erupted in whispers. Only the first, leaders repeated, fear spreading like fire. If one Titan could silence fleets, what would happen if there were more? The envoy's voice grew stronger. We endured extinction before, and we will endure again if forced. But we would rather endure with friends than with enemies. The choice is yours. Silence followed. Predator warlords trembled, unable to meet his gaze. Scholar leaders whispered of alliances. Merchant rulers quietly calculated the price of peace, and slowly, painfully, one by one, the council leaders lowered their heads in acknowledgement. It was not surrender. It was not submission. It was respect. For the first time in history, the galaxy bent not to fear, but to the presence of humanity's will. Far above, the Titan hovered, its weapons quiet again, its engines humming like thunder waiting for a storm. But for now it did not strike, it did not dominate, it simply watched, a giant guardian reminding all that humanity had arrived. And across the stars, billions of eyes stared upward, whispering the same truth: the age of humanity had begun. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for what humanity would do next. waiting for whether the Titan would bring peace or fire, waiting for the moment history would forever divide into two ages, the age before humanity and the age after cliffhanger. The Titan's massive silhouette moved slowly forward, and the stars themselves seemed to bow. As the universe whispered, the humans are here.